Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that will shake you to your core. Nobody cares about you, at least not in the way you think they do. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but hear me out. You walk around expecting the world to notice you, to feel sorry for your struggles, to give you what you think you deserve. You post your problems online, hoping someone will care. You wait for people to validate your dreams, your pain, your worth. But let me ask you, what if nobody ever does? What if no one calls to check on you? What if no one gives you a helping hand? What if no one even acknowledges your potential? What then? Because the truth is, people are too busy with their own struggles, their own dreams, their own survival. And if you're waiting for them to care before you take action, you will die waiting. That's why today, I want to shake you awake. Because the day you stop expecting the world to care is the day you take control of your life. Let me tell you something. One of the greatest traps in life is waiting for sympathy. People spend years hoping someone will notice their pain, acknowledge their struggle, or feel sorry for what they've been through. They want the world to pause, look at them and say, I see you, I feel you, I care. But let me ask you a hard question. What if nobody ever does? What if no one ever checks on you? What if no one ever comes to your rescue? What if no one ever gives you a handout? Will you sit there and die in self-pity? Or will you stand up and take responsibility for your life? Listen to me. Sympathy might make you feel good for a moment, but it won't change your situation. You don't need sympathy. You need a strategy. You need a plan. You need wisdom. Because the world is not moved by tears. The world is moved by solution. Look at Joseph. His own brothers betrayed him. They threw him in a pit, left him for dead, and then sold him into slavery. Did anyone come to his rescue? No. Did he cry out for sympathy? No. Joseph understood something powerful. Man's rejection does not cancel God's plan. Instead of sitting in prison complaining, Joseph developed his gift. He interpreted dreams. He used wisdom. And when the time came, his gift made room for him. Proverbs 18:16. Do you see what I'm saying? The reason some people stay stuck is because they spend too much time looking for someone to feel sorry for them instead of preparing for their opportunity. You don't need people to feel sorry for you. You need to sharpen your skills. Think about this. When was the last time you hired someone because you felt sorry for them? You don't go to a doctor because they're struggling. You don't buy from a business because they're broke. You choose them because they are the best at what they do. So why are you expecting people to choose you based on your pain instead of your value? Stop waiting for sympathy. Stop preparing yourself. You have a mind. Use it. You have gifts. Develop them. You have opportunities. Seize them. You don't need people to acknowledge your struggle. You need wisdom to navigate it. You need to pray. Seek knowledge. Invest in yourself and align your life with purpose. Because when you become valuable, when you develop your gifts, when you solve problems, the world will have no choice but to notice you. So stop crying. Stop waiting. Stop expecting someone to feel sorry for you. Rise up. Take action. Get wisdom. Because sympathy fades, but strategy changes your life. Nobody is coming to make you great. Nobody is responsible for your growth except you. Too many people sit around blaming life for their condition. They blame their parents, they blame their past, they blame the environment, but let me tell you the truth, blame never changes anything. You can blame your circumstances all you want, but at the end of the day, you are still where you are. If you are waiting for someone to take responsibility for your success, you will die waiting. God did not create you to be a victim of life. He created you to have dominion. He created you with power, with intelligence, with potential. But listen to me. Potential means nothing if you don't develop it. Jesus, the Son of God Himself, had to grow. The Bible says in Luke 2:52 that Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, and in favor with God and man. Think about that. If Jesus had to grow, what makes you think you don't? If Jesus had to develop, what makes you believe you can stay the same and expect success to find you? Some people pray for a breakthrough, but they refuse to grow into the person who can handle that breakthrough. They ask God for promotion, but they don't develop the skills needed for the next level. They want favor, but they don't position themselves to be favored. Success is not given to the lazy. Favor is not given to the unprepared. Growth is a choice, and until you decide to grow, your life will never change. Have you ever seen a farmer sitting in an empty field crying because there's no harvest? No. A farmer knows that if there's no harvest, it's because there was no planting. The same applies to your life. If you don't like where you are, plant new seeds, invest in your mind, sharpen your skills, surround yourself with people who push you higher. Because the truth is, nobody will invest in you more than you invest in yourself. Stop waiting for people to teach you what you can learn on your own. Stop expecting a mentor to take responsibility for what you should be doing. Stop waiting for someone to hand you success. You must grow, you must develop, you must stretch yourself. If you don't grow, you stay stuck. If you don't grow, you become a burden instead of a blessing. If you don't grow, you will keep watching others succeed while you remain in the same place. So here's my question to you. Are you growing? Are you actively developing yourself? Or are you still making excuses? Are you still waiting for someone to push you? Because the day you stop blaming, the day you stop waiting, the day you take full responsibility for your growth, that is the day your life begins to change. Nobody's ignoring you. The world is simply waiting for you to become valuable. People don't care about you because they don't see what you carry. They don't recognize your potential because you haven't turned it into something useful. You are not overlooked. You are underdeveloped. The moment you become an answer, the world will start paying attention. Look at David. He was a shepherd boy, forgotten even by his own father. When the prophet Samuel came looking for the next king, David wasn't even invited to the lineup. His father didn't see his value. His brothers didn't believe in him. But the moment he stepped onto the battlefield and solved the Goliath problem, everything changed. Think about this. David had the same potential the day before he fought Goliath. But nobody cared. He was already anointed, already chosen, already gifted. But listen to me. Potential without a problem to solve is invisible. You're not ignored. You're just not solving a problem big enough to be noticed. Stop waiting for people to recognize your talent. Stop begging for opportunities. Stop complaining that nobody sees you. The reason nobody sees you is because you haven't solved anything worth seeing. Look around you. Every great person, every successful leader, every wealthy individual, what do they all have in common? They solve problems. Doctors solve health problems. Engineers solve technical problems. Teachers solve education problems. Entrepreneurs solve business problems. Your value is measured by the size of the problem you are willing to solve. Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and locked in prison. Nobody cared about him. He was just another prisoner, just another forgotten man. But one day, Pharaoh had a dream that no one could interpret. Suddenly, Joseph's gift became valuable. Suddenly, the man who had been ignored was being called into the palace. Listen carefully. Your breakthrough is hidden in the problem you are willing to solve. The reason some people struggle is because they spend their whole lives complaining about problems instead of solving them. They talk about how unfair life is. They talk about how no one helps them. They talk about how they are overlooked. But let me tell you something. The moment you stop complaining and start solving, everything changes. God never created you to be a burden. He created you to be a blessing. He designed you to be an answer. But until you embrace that, you will remain frustrated. The world does not reward need. It rewards solutions. It does not promote potential, it promotes productivity. So let me ask you, What problem are you solving? What gift are you developing? What value are you adding? If you are tired of being ignored, stop waiting for attention and start creating impact. Because the day you decide to solve a problem, the world will have no choice but to notice you. Stop waiting, stop hoping, stop expecting someone to hand you what God has already given you authority to take. Too many people are waiting for permission to succeed. They are waiting for someone to validate them, to approve them, to open a door for them. But listen to me. Dominion is never given to those who wait. It is taken by those who act. Genesis 1:26 says, let them have dominion. God did not say, let them wait for dominion. He did not say, let them hope someone gives them dominion. He said, let them have it. That means it's already yours. It means God has already placed within you the authority, the ability, and the potential to rule over your environment. So why are you still waiting? Why are you waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself? Why are you waiting for the perfect opportunity when God has already given you the power to create opportunity? Look at the Israelites. God had already promised them the land. He had already declared it theirs. But when they arrived at the edge of their blessing, they hesitated. They saw giants, they saw obstacles, they saw resistance, and instead of taking what was theirs, they shrank back in fear. Do you know what happened? They wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Not because the promise was delayed, but because they refused to take what God had already given them. And that is exactly what happens to many people today. They wander in circles, waiting for a sign, waiting for a miracle, waiting for something to change, when in reality, the only thing that needs to change is their mindset. Nobody is going to give you permission to be great. Nobody is going to hand you your destiny. If you keep waiting for someone to push you, you will stay in the same place for the rest of your life. Look at Joshua. When it was time to enter the promised land, God didn't say, wait and see what happens. He said, be strong and courageous. He said, every place the sole of your foot shall tread, I have given it to you. That means the land was already his, but he had to step on it first. Are you stepping? Are you moving? Or are you still sitting waiting for something that will never come? You don't need another prophecy. You don't need another confirmation. You don't need another person to agree with you. You need to move. Success is not for the passive. Influence is not for the fearful. Favor is not for those who hesitate. It is for those who step out in faith and take dominion over what God has already placed in their hands. So stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop doubting yourself. Rise up, take action, move forward. Because what you refuse to take, you will never possess. If you disappear today, what would the world lose? What impact would vanish? What difference would it make? Most people live their entire lives without ever answering that question. They move through life like shadows, existing but not truly making a mark. They complain that no one cares about them, but the real issue is that they have not yet become necessary. Because listen to me, you're only valued to the degree that you are needed. Think about a seed. A seed contains everything necessary to produce a tree. But if that seed never enters the ground, never breaks open, never grows, it remains useless. It doesn't matter how much potential is inside, because potential that is not activated is wasted. And this is why the richest place on earth is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It is not the gold reserves of America. The richest place on earth is the cemetery. Because in the cemetery, you will find books that were never written, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never started, dreams that were never fulfilled, and the tragedy is that many of those people died blaming the world for not recognizing them, when in reality, they never activated what God had placed inside of them. The Bible says in Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. That means your gift is designed to create space for you in this world. But listen carefully. A gift that is never developed has no room to go. People cry out for recognition. They say, nobody cares about me, nobody notices me, nobody appreciates what I do. But here's the truth. The world does not ignore value. The world ignores the undeveloped. The moment you sharpen your skills, master your craft, and become excellent at what you do, people will come looking for you. Look at Jesus. Before he began his ministry, he was just another carpenter's son. Nobody followed him. Nobody listened to him. But the moment he stepped into his purpose, crowds came from everywhere. People traveled for miles just to hear him speak. They climbed trees just to see him. They broke through rooftops just to get to him. Why? Because when you become valuable, people will do whatever it takes to access you. Stop waiting to be noticed. Stop waiting for someone to acknowledge your worth. Focus on becoming so effective that you cannot be ignored. The world is full of people who live and die unnoticed because they never made themselves necessary. They never grew their gift. They never cultivated their potential. They never solved a problem. And because they were not needed, they were not missed. But that cannot be your story. You were not born to take up space. You were born to fill a space that no one else can fill. So rise up, develop your gift, maximize your potential, make yourself necessary, because the day you become necessary is the day the world will care. Now let me ask you again, who cares about you? The answer is simple. God cares and you should care. That's enough. So today I challenge you. Stop waiting for validation. Stop seeking pity. Stop making excuses. Rise up, take responsibility, create value, and serve your way into significance. Because the moment you stop expecting the world to care, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Now go and make an impact.